So today I'm excited. I have my colleague here, Alinafe. Alinafe is a long-time friend from way back. So I am interviewing him because I think his story is exciting for me. So I believe it can be a story that you can relate to, specifically most of the young people in Malawi who probably are in the states or were in the state that he was, anyway, so to say. So anyway, let's do this. Welcome to Podcast with Mark Nyoni. So here we are. Hey, Alinafe. Let's talk about your story. I think like your story is exciting. We met in the St. Charles Langa. That was which year was that?
2005.
2005, yeah, 2006. Remember myself from 2.
Yes, yeah. From 2006.
Yeah. So Alinafe and I, we were in the same class. We were deskmate at some point. I don't remember.
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, it was, I think, 2 years.
2 years.
Yes, we started being deskmates in Form 3.
Form 3,
yes.
Not years. Yeah, when they used to year what. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about your story, man. I knew you from that time. My life was not good. Yours wasn't either. But yeah, we saw through. Let's take it aside. What really happened? What was the journey like from that space to here?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story. I mean, we have gone through a series of life. I mean, life was just happening to us, and it was real. We have passed through hard moments. We have passed through good moments. But yeah, I mean, the majority of life, when we're back in the old days, it was not good.
Cool. So yeah, let's talk about secondary school. I remember the struggles aside.
Yes.
Let's talk about the struggles. Let's break it. What was happening, my guy? How did you end up paying for school fees?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most evident thing that comes into my mind whenever I think about secondary school is how I got my tuition paid. I always remember my mother crying in front of people that she would feel or she was feeling would offer me some kind of scholarship or some money for my school. I've seen my mother crying time and again at the social welfare, at the minister's home, at the MP's home and stuff, at my uncle's place, so that I should get the education that I got, and that pushes me to my life in the days. Yeah. So we're really struggling. The time I was going to the secondary school, I didn't even have apart from having school fees, I didn't have basic tools and things that would take me through the education. So even the clothing, I remember I only had one trouser and one shirt when I was going into secondary school, and that was in Form 1. I didn't have much books. I only had maybe 2 exercise books, one pen, and maybe one soap, one everything. So it was tough, and everything was tough.
Yeah. Honestly, I remember those days. I was struggling, but I knew you were struggling.
Very struggling.
The struggles were just too much for both of us, I think, but it's his story. Yeah. So yes, I remember that time. The struggles were real. It was evident. Things were not easy, but you were bright. I'm on my course that time. You were bright. I remember you were in this race with Vincent Gideon.
Oh yeah.
That guy was a beast. That guy was too much. Shout out to Vincent. I think I should get him one of these days. But that guy was the best, my guy.
Sure.
But yes, you were wrestling with him, and throughout the struggles, throughout everything that happened, what was the journey out of St. Charles Wanga Old Boys Secondary School to the university? What happened here?
Yeah, so even when I was facing hard times, I had this thing in me that always pushed me to do extraordinary, and that's why I was able to do well in class, because this thing was always pushing me. And one of the dreams that I had was to go to the university, because I knew by that time that getting a secondary school paper, Malawi school living or Malawi school certificate, you know, that paper, it wasn't enough for you to do something extraordinary. So from that, I got this understanding that when I go to the university, I'm going to open up new doors of opportunities for myself and advancement for everything that I do. So yeah, it started from that want. I really wanted to go to the university, and whenever I study, I was studying with that particular aim. So yeah, like I made it.
Yeah, but you see, what happens, for instance, in secondary school, I know of a couple of people that, you know, you get confused, right? And you can even drop everything just because of my struggles in school. But there's one thing that I applaud you for, my guy, and even myself, I remember that time, because we never gave up. Life was difficult. Things were so tough.
Yeah.
We never gave up. But your story is quite extraordinary, because the time we think of school, you were looking so young.
I was very small. I was very small.
Yes, you were so small, and even in the class, you were like some small guy over there.
Yeah.
But you turned out to be that kind of business person, running so many initiatives and doing stuff now. You see, I look at young people these days. My guys and I got the struggle. I struggle at first physics one or physics and they give up on life. But they can't relate. They can't even understand where you were, where your mom would go and beg for things, and probably not giving false hopes.
Yeah.
And you were there trying to do whatever that you want to do, make sure that you have something working, and make sure that at least you pass, so that you don't disappoint whosoever has coordinated to give you the money.
Yes.
So how do you look at this generation where some people school at 40, pocket money in a one? How do you look at it?
Yeah,
the person that you were casino one?
Yes.
As far
I
as
was pushing. Yeah, I mean, I see this every time.
Yeah.
And I think it's where we are getting it all wrong. It starts from one's realization of what they want to be. But it looks like most of the young people that we have right now, they don't look that far. They are not that ambitious. To such an extent that with a little struggle in life, they think they can't make it. I've always come to know that it's the weight of your dream that pushes you to do something today. It's the weight.
The weight of your dream.
Yes. How much it weighs.
So are you thinking that, because I think the young people of today, most of them, they have a lot of inspiration. They have TVs, most of them probably TVs. People that would watch an episode like this one, probably they have access to YouTube or stuff like that, data. They see a lot of things. Is it that they don't aspire for those things, or it's just an issue of because things are available and then we can get away with anything?
Inspiration is one thing. That's what I've come to know. Inspiration is one thing. You can inspire someone, but aspiration or something and the dream comes from within.
Yeah.
So you can tell someone how good it is to be someone important, doing something extraordinary. You can even try to teach them on how they can achieve that particular thing. But if it's not coming from within, then you might be wasting your time.
Just a waste of time, right?
Yes, probably. That's what is lacking nowadays. Because people tend to get all this inspiration that is around, which is very good, but they don't take it from the within of themselves. Yeah. So it's something that is missing.
Yeah, I think there's a popular saying these days that you need to know your why.
Yes.
So your why inspires you to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Great. So anyway, let's talk about the success now. I think enough of the challenges. enough of the struggles, enough of eating beans every day.
Oh, yeah, you remind me of those ones.
Yeah.
Like acidic beans.
Acidic.
and of course infested with some meat inside.
Yes, with a couple of things that are there.
Yeah,
And
sure.
but anyway, we should be grateful for
Of course.
for the education.
Yeah.
No matter how the struggle was, other people probably were in a very challenging status. Anyway, let's talk about now. Now you are a lecturer. You've done your masters, I know. You are now doing a PhD. Let's talk about that journey. How did you get to the institution that you're working with now, and how did you climb the ladder?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and an exciting one. When I joined university, I never thought I would be a lecturer. By the way, even when we're in college with colleagues, we would joke about lectures to say no, lectures are not that good. It's not that good paying a job.
Oh, yeah. Everyone think about payment to university.
Yes.
You don't know that life
will push
beyond payments. Huh?
But when I was about to finish my first degree, I had the entrepreneurial aspect of life. I had tested the entrepreneurial aspect of life.
Yeah.
And I thought I would be an entrepreneur. And I remember one of my lecturers then, I asked him and I told him about my inspiration, my aspiration.
Yes, that's right.
And then he said, if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you need to consider joining the university.
Wow.
Because you have a bit of some time for yourself. You see now. So that's where my thinking started changing, and that was in fourth transitioning to fifth year. So that I embraced that thing, and by the time I was finishing final year, which is fifth year, I was ready to go for lecturing. And actually, when I was finishing, I had already, because I was among the few.
Just say you are smart. Say I am smart. I am the smartest guy in the class.
No.
I can make things happen.
I was among the few privileged, individuals. I was given 2 posts at the university.
Wow.
So I was supposed to go for either to teach engineering design, which I was good at, or to go and be among the people that were initiating or starting the biomedical engineering,
like a department.
Yes,
Wow.
it's just, it was, in this case, it's just a course underneath the electrical engineering department. So I chose to go through the biomedical engineering one because I did mechanical, but I didn't give myself into it. So the aspiration was to use the mechanical engineering aspect and other aspects of technology to get solutions done. So I thought biomedical engineering would be the best suited career for me. So that's where I went. Yeah.
So you started lecturing soon after university.
Yes.
You know, these stories that I don't know if they still exist these days.
No, it's quite hard.
People, you finish school and then you go out and do internship for years and then stuff gets crazy. But he's a smart guy, honestly. Let me be honest. He's one of the smartest guys that I know. Some of us know that smart to be given a lecturing post. I was a C student, and I've always said that I'm a C student, and I am happy in that space. He's an A student, and he even does everything that even we C students we do. But let's talk about you started lecturing. I saw that a couple of things changed when you started lecturing, like opportunities, and then even starting your business. How did the business come into play when you started the lecturing?
Yeah, so the origin of the business starts from a death back from the time I was in college. So I remember somewhere around second year or first year, I was introduced to some material or some way of thinking called Mechatronics. So I started studying Mechatronics. Even at the time when it wasn't taught in our class. So when I started these things, I found out that they are things that are done by other people in this country. So what happens is when you have got a machine or an equipment that has got some electronics, computer technologies and stuff, it's definitely the fact that it is made from outside.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
these are all gadgets that we have here.
Yes. So I started thinking about that. It bothered me to say, okay, can't Malawians do their own technologies?
Yeah.
So you now see, it drove me to start thinking about how can we get these technologies now to the people. I have the knowledge. It's not like the guys that are doing it in other countries. They have knowledge that we cannot have.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So I started studying more on the subject, even outside the classroom, because these things were not taught in class. So I like computer technologies. I started studying about electronics, and I started studying about automation and stuff. So by the time I was in third year, I had attended an event in Kenya. We can talk about that, but it was a conference out of a competition which I won as a national finalist.
I told you this guy is smart, so this is what it is. Let's keep hearing about these milestones.
Yeah, so like being a finalist, I was supposed to go to Kenya. And I remember the event was at Kenyatta University. Where I learned about Arduinos, Arduino programming and automation using simple open source technologies. So that opened up my mind to say, I think this is workable. I think this is possible. So by that time, Arduino was not there in Malawi. By that time.
Because I remember your time of being known, playing or navigating through the Arduino space. Because you were in the newspaper in one of those things, and I read about the story. I couldn't get it. I was like, what is Arduino? Yeah, but I saw gadgets, and I think later on at my work we did we worked with some microbits. So there were a bit of all those chips and the like, and there was a story about Arduino, and I connected. So talk about it.
So I learned about Arduino, and I found it wasn't there in Malawi. So I said, why can't we have this in Malawi? When I came, when I was coming back from Kenya, I bought my own small kit. So I used that kit to start something. So I started explaining to people what Arduino is, what it does, and stuff. So I even when I came back, I even went to my head of department then, who was my lecturer, and I said, I have this thing. I feel I should share it to almost everyone who is ready to receive the good news. That we can automate things. We can see things happening. By just putting a computer program, you can see something happening. So they gave me a platform, they gave me their projector tools and stuff, and I started calling for people. So that's when the entrepreneur thing shot.
I can get it.
Because I would teach people, but then they wouldn't have the tools. So I said, okay, the next thing should be, what if I get the tools? So that when I teach, these guys buy it.
I can supply. I remember, now I remember your website. You were selling a couple of gadgets that I couldn't understand. Stuff for smart people. Cool. So you started selling gadgets. But then you went further, because I know one of the milestones that you have hit was when you were working with I think one of the code storages, when you had programmed this other program and then it was able to do stuff in the code storage. Talk about that, my guy.
Okay, so when after selling, we say, I think we need to start from somewhere. I should mention here that in fourth year I was joined by a colleague, and his name is Hope Peavy.
Let me just do an interjection. You hear the language. I should mention it here that's almost like somebody's lecture.
If
it was me who is the lecturer, or I would just say this is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the friend who joined you.
Yeah. So a friend came and I shared him the idea, and he said, I think let's band. Let's come together and get this done. He was coming from electrical engineering background. I was coming from mechanical engineering background. So we said, I think a combination of us two can produce lead something that is great. So we started working in it was in 2014, 2013 going to 2014. About the idea of the company. And when we asked each other of the name, we called it Macro, which is a combination of mechatronics and robotics.
Wow.
So we said, okay, we take mech from the mechatronics and raw from robotics and make it macro. So we called it Microsystem Solutions. Yeah. So at that particular point, we said we agreed we should start from somewhere. We cannot say we have a company and all we do is just sales of electronic gadgets. So we said, what if we start to tackle one of the challenges that people face? What if we come up with a temperature monitoring system? So we said, okay, but who would need that? So we went on the ground, we went to Deribot, Malawi then, and inquired on how they keep monitoring their things. By that time, we had temperature sensors that were not being bought, of course.
So you had a lot of them.
Yes, and we had these microcontrollers with that. So we said, I think we should start from here. So it was a project like just a starting point. So after a year, my friend got employed probably after we got out of college. He got employed and he came to me and said, I think I'm not proceeding. Because I'm taken up. I mean, this job is taking much of my time. I can't proceed with you. I felt bad, but
that was a blow, my guy. That was a blow.
He was very good. He was very good. He was doing all the programming, all the circuiting, whilst I was doing most of the conceptualization, the 3D and stuff. So it was a hit, and I had to go over it. I said I would proceed. So I proceeded with the project. Now I started taking. I had a big feel of the concept then. I was even doing the programming. I was even doing the electronics because I had just to. So in 2015, I started taking students on attachments in our company.
Great.
Microsystem.
So you have been creating jobs before the 1 million jobs. All right.
So I remember in 2015 going 2016, I had 5 students.
Wow.
Attachments. 3 were coming from DMI St. John the Baptist, and 2 were coming from Poly.
Great.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So he has been creating jobs since 2015. 2015, I don't know what I was doing, but I knew you started working on Macro. I knew Macro because yes, we're close. I've understood the story, quite an inspiring story. I'm also in technology, but I knew that your value proposition, what you were doing, was totally different from what most of us do, which is probably developing websites and stuff, and then do a business out of it. You came out. You said, I don't want just to do the ordinary. I want to create things that can do stuff so that when people come to Malawi and they want to learn or they want to do a project that needs automation, needs things to happen, they can make it happen. Not just some page somewhere online that is functioning, but something that people can use in real life. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's coming from the very same aspirations I told you. The journey hasn't been easy because we are under-resourced. Our backgrounds can tell. If I had all the monies, I would have maybe done more than what I've done now. But that is not an excuse for me. So we started focusing on systems and not just websites, as we have said, or maybe not just as simple tools. So we focus on automating systems or processes for maximization of profit if it's a for-profit business. But if it's a non-profit, then we are looking at solving their problems. So we do deal with systems, as I've already said, systems that solve some of the pressing issues that we have here in Malawi or in Africa.
Yeah.
I believe in a saying that Africans should solve their own African problems, because we know our problems better.
Yep.
If there is a problem in Malawi that exists and it needs a solution, it can well be solved by someone who understands that.
We can solve it better than someone who can come and tell us how to solve it.
Of course.
We can learn about different models.
Yes.
But even if you learn those models, you need contextualization.
Yeah.
I emphasize on this thing. Contextualization is this subject that sometimes we don't want to agree because of so many things that happen in this bilateral relation between country to country.
Yeah.
But if you want to see maximum results, let people own what they want to do, not own what they want to do or what their solutions in courts where you are told what to do, but you are told to do it yourself. No. But where people can really conceptualize their solutions.
Yeah. So I mean, Africa is very different.
Yeah.
We are living in societies that are very under-resourced.
I believe that Malawi can work out the challenges that we have within ourselves, and I don't think we have to always look at aid like grants coming. Yes, they will help us. Companies, big businesses, even abroad, they rely on these things. But eventually, if you want to own our solutions, it's when you have no strings attached to your solution. And I like what your company does, because that's what we need. And I think a lot of people, I'll try to make sure that when we're talking about this, I can show your website, what you've been doing, so that people that are watching this will just can take a look at that and see how they can support. Because I feel like Africans, we don't support each other. If you have a solution, I would rather buy it somewhere than to work with you.
Yes.
Than to promote you. So I would rather go to India and get no hate about India, there's nothing about India, but it's just an issue of that sometimes we want to go out than to buy within ourselves. But it's very good to always think of how we can promote ourselves. And if you have a business, let the government be your first your client.
Yes.
Let everyone who's doing anything that relates to your business support you.
Yes, and actually when a baby is born, you don't expect them to walk the very same day.
Yeah, no.
That's the very same way we should treat innovations.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the day, if I hatch an innovation, the government shouldn't expect me to know everything about procurement, to know everything about bureaucracy, to know everything about accounting before they give me something.
And that's the problem. I was talking to a colleague in the last episode about how we failed in a business, and one of the major issues was that they expect us to be everything. What if there's a platform where there are people who are offering these services and we can ride on their services, and then all I do is just to provide the technology, and they trust me by the technology?
Let me give you a scenario whereby we have got this well-structured company, it has got all the resources, it has got all the monies, and then government wants to do something to do with a certain solution which they know it exists with a young man, a young business. So they tell this company to collaborate or to partner with this this small company so that they can get the solution done for the government. That makes a lot of sense. It's like the small company holds the IP of the technology. But the machinery that supports that particular technology is coming from this big company, already existing company. But they don't do that. And because they don't do that, the process tends to break somewhere. Because by the time they involve the big company would have already gone outside to search for outsource.
And usually you find that the solutions that are made for people here that we would have understood them better, they are being outsourced. There's no problem with outsourcing. I like outsourcing for my jobs within and sometimes outside. But one thing that I believe is that you should be able to see the value of people that are within. And governments, please fund people like this. give them the resources, give them the business. When they get the businesses, these are the people that employ Malawians. They pay well, they give better wages to Malawians, and they make sure that tax is being paid, money is circulating, and we are upgrading.
Yeah, of course.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we make a mistake thinking that if we do that, I know there's a corruption issue that happens around these procurement things, and they think like a Malawian would not be that flexible to do that. But anyway, local solutions for local problems. I agree that, and I believe we can have a day just to talk about these solutions in different sectors in detail. But today is about your story. Let's get back to school.
Yes.
You did your master's. What was your master's about?
So when I joined biomedical engineering, I had to choose a space where I was comfortable. And
there's a lot of liberty, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like in biomedical engineering, there is a lot of liberty. And I knew about the liberty before I got into there. So I had to choose the space which I should operate, and it was based on what I was aspiring to be. So by then I had already been exposed to issues of transfer of data over networks and stuff. So I said, I think telemedicine would be a good field for me. So that pushed me to do Master of Philosophy in Telecommunications. So my master's is an engineering master's. It's a Master of Philosophy, but the project I did is to do with medicine.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So that changes into telemedicine, which is a section within biomedical engineering.
Wow. Wow. In this conversation, I feel like I didn't go to school.
No. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I remember seeing you on Facebook when you were graduating.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand the field when you were explaining a master's in blah, blah, blah. This is too much, man. I don't want to get involved. But anyway, that's cool. So let's talk about the PhD. You got I think a scholarship.
Yeah, sure.
And you're studying at a school. Talk about it.
Yeah. So I mean, after I did the telecommunications Master of Philosophy in Telecommunications, which I was looking at transfer of malaria data over mobile networks. The project was good. I mean, from the feedback that I got, to such an extent that one of the reviewers of my master said, I think if you only proceed with this, you can get your PhD as soon as maybe 2 years. So I said, I think I need to think about that.
Yeah.
So I started conceptualizing on how I can extend the topic or the research, topic. And I got this other concept, which I sent to a lot of professors, and one of them being a professor from University of Cape Town. So she got very interested. When she saw the concept, she said, "This is a very good concept. Can you send me your master's thesis?" Yeah. So I sent her the thesis document. She read it and she said, "Wow. It looks like you have a very good background of what you want to do. But can I change your topic a little bit small? I mean, can I change it a bit? Because there is a project here that we are doing which needs someone who has your background." Wow. So she said, "I'll give you a topic." I said, "That's fine, give me a topic." She gave me a topic, and the topic was very interesting. I couldn't take it down, man. I couldn't deny it, man. Okay. It was very interesting. It's to do with we are doing the first ever African digital health test bed on 5G and 6G. Wow. Wow! Oh my God! Yeah, it's Africa's first ever. There has never been a digital health test bed for 5G and beyond networks. Wow! So that's what I'm working on. I'm producing a 5G network in a campus where innovators, entrepreneurs, scientists can bring in their technologies in digital health and test them on my test bed. Wow! This is some great stuff. I said this guy is smart. He's just being humble here. Next time when you hear that he is somewhere at WHO leading some portfolio, don't be surprised.
this is what Malawi has: great talent, great brains, doing amazing stuff. 5G. And when you mentioned 5G,
Yes.
I was just laughing in my head because remember when COVID was coming?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Everybody thought we're getting COVID because of 5G. Oh my God. Some conspiracy theorists are people that are not supposed to say very backward stuff like that.
Of course. I mean, we are living in tough times. So anything that comes as tough, we tend to pin it to something.
Yeah, we pin it to something. We pin it to a few thoughts that we have, and we pin it to our fears.
Of course.
So if you are take phobia, anything that comes or anything that may look like is a challenge that came because of technology, you attribute it yes, and you want to make it.
And we will have many of them coming.
Yeah. We can say that there are no challenges with technology. I think they'll always be there, right? You always have the negative effects of anything.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is interesting. So I'm interested with the research. Obviously, I was interested with the malaria one, but I feel like this one is more exciting.
Yeah,
it's more exciting. I'm doing a master's as well. I'm going to talk about it later on, but I feel like what you're doing is more interesting in terms of solutions.
Yeah, when I was given the topic, I looked at it and I says, this is interesting. When I developed the concept note, that concept note I submitted for funding with a research institute in South Africa, and I was given the funding.
Wow.
Which means it's one of the burning issues now.
Yes.
It's one of the hot research areas right now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, within a space of, say, 5 months working on it, we have got a lot of feedback.
Wow.
A lot of feedback.
Now I'm looking forward for that. I'm looking forward to how you're going to grow that one, and I'm looking forward to when you are done, you defending it, or if in the course of implementation there's something exciting that is happening, we'll need to do something. I know you're based in South Africa now, Cape Town. Yes. We'll try to do a Zoom call and just talk about it. I'm talking to one of Malawi's smart guy as well in London. I think he's in UK or something. He's doing a lot of publishing, so we'll talk about publishing and the like. But I think with you, today was about your story, where we're coming from, the humble beginnings to here. But we will need to talk about this, talk about solutions like those, talk about research, which is which breaks the mind when people listen of what you're doing. So yeah, that would be interesting to say. Cool. So when is what is your anticipation in terms of when you're gonna close this, and what will be the future like with you? Are you still gonna be in the academia?
I have big dreams. I have big dreams. Actually, I said this to myself even years before I joined this research. Yeah. I said it to myself that I'll be amongst the first people to introduce or to come up with 5G networks in Africa, probably in Malawi, because we do not have those.
We don't have that yet.
Yeah. So I say I should be among the first people to come up with technologies like these and distributing them over, and across the continent. Yeah. So my dream is not small.
It's not small. Come on, you can't do that study and have a dream that is blank.
So I dream of coming up with my telecom company.
Oh, great.
Yes.
I will support you. There's a lot of monopoly in this space. We need guys like him to own something.
Yeah, so like I have already put up a plan. I'm already on my second year within the plan, which is a 5-year plan, to put up my first ever, my first telecom company, fully owned by Malawian. Yeah. And doing amazing stuff. Like I want to do advanced technologies. Like we focus on data. Yeah. It's high time now. You look at data as something that is driving the economies. Yeah, data is driving the economy. Yeah. Yeah. So if we give technologies, networks that are cheap, affordable, I can use affordable, and the data rates, like the speeds are high, definitely you're gonna win people.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm taking much time to study about all these technologies as I'm doing my PhD. So once I finish, I should get as much information as possible to kickstart what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that would be great, my guy. I think that's what we need. We need more companies owned by Malawians. Not that it doesn't matter to have other companies coming in, but we need that, because as we have said, we know our challenges and we know how we can do pivots here and there, because we know what is it that we are struggling with. So that's powerful. I really like it. I think when you're ready to launch that, I think it will be good to have young minds there.
Of course, yes.
Make it as a big company.
Yes.
Pitch it different places, get the funding. Yes. If you can register it aboard, make sure it's quite big. Come on, don't settle for companies that you make 200,000 a day and you're like, we're big, but big investments that can really change the whole system of development and the whole system of jobs, the whole system of technology and stuff. I'm so happy. This is so exciting. I think we have a lot, but I see my time. We have gone past the limits that I want to put this podcast to be, but I'm so excited with what is happening. And then we're gonna do another call specifically to talk about these things. But maybe in closing, when you reflect on the journey of being that person in secondary school, that young little guy in secondary school, trying to do your stuff. I remember you were hated a lot sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
I remember that. People used to hate. Kaliwo. That's crazy.
Can I have something to say about that?
Please.
Yeah, I mean, like, I used to think not ordinarily.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's at lunchtime, we are about to go out for lunch, and then I've got this thing about the class or whatever, the lecture or the teacher, what they were sharing, I would raise my hand, and people were hating
because you would make us stop going out to eat, and then you were asking your questions. We're like, come on, this young children, what is it doing here?
Yeah, so that grew in me. I don't keep what I don't know for myself. I would always want to ask, and this even followed me into the university. Not many people like me when doing this. They like the personality,
but when it comes to
this thing of asking questions,
clinging to his questions, and like
so people did like it. So I was hated for that. I know for one that's the reason. Maybe there might be other reasons.
But I remember those times because you were and it's quite strange. But it happened. And you look at the story that you have, coming from that place of struggles to what I like to call a place of significance now, where when you speak, your voice, people can hear you and stuff. What's the best thing that you can tell a young person? I think you look at the camera. A young person who's struggling with fees right now, struggling with their parents don't have money, and they're always blaming on their parents. They don't know what to do. What could be your advice on how they can chase their dreams despite whatever challenge, but still make it?
Okay, let me say this. It's easier said than done. But it makes a whole lot of sense to say it. So what I can say to a young person now, for them to achieve their goal is to set higher goals.
Okay.
So setting higher goals makes you work with respect to that particular goal. So the amount of energy that you put on something is comparatively it should be something that should relate to that which you want to that which you are doing. So you put so much strength based on what you want to achieve. If you look at a big dream, go for it. Don't give excuses, because all of us, if you look at every big guy that you see around, they have faced challenges.
They have struggled.
Some of them didn't even have what I had. So they have faced even more challenges than what I passed through.
Yeah.
So it's all about them setting goals, setting high objectives of life. Because life is, some people say it's a journey.
Yeah.
So you have to have a certain destination in that particular journey.
Yeah.
And it's that which determines the steps that you take, the frustrations that you face, how you tackle those frustrations, how you tackle those challenges, and make sure that you get to that objective.
Amazing, amazing. Set the higher goals, make them more difficult.
Yes.
You strive for them, you're gonna work hard, you're gonna fail, but at least you're gonna be somewhere. You're gonna be safe in a place where if you were to set that smaller milestone kind of goal, you wouldn't have been there. Big advice from Alinafe here. It's gonna be Dr. Kaliwo soon, so I have to enjoy using Alinafe Kaliwo because I know him. But I think it's gonna be that piece is good, and keep that and try to explore that area. Last thing for me would be around what you wanna be. Most can remember that because you see, all that we do here, life is a journey. I'm on a journey, you're on a journey. Whatever that we do are footsteps that people will follow. There's a story that will be told of Alinafe Kaliwo. That story is going to be a story. What do you want people to remember you at? This is going to be on YouTube. Someone is going to watch it someday. Now we have a very small bunch of subscribers, but yeah, people are going to watch this soon, and they'll want to check your story. What do you want people to remember you as?
Well, I mean, every day I wake up seeing myself as someone who creates solutions. So it doesn't matter how much I would do in terms of my academia. It doesn't matter how much I would do in terms of money. But I would love to be remembered as someone who solved problems.
Amazing.
Who used whatever skills they had, the tools that were exposed to them to solve challenges. I am not happy when I go to the village and look at people suffering, and I know I can do something out of my skills to solve those challenges. So if at all someone is going to remember me by the end of this life, I should be remembered as someone who solved their problems.
It's amazing. But do you think your background coming from the village struggles gives you this kind of thinking of solving problems? Is that an inspiration?
It does. Actually, it does. Because I imagine myself growing that time in the village with very less resources. So I'm imagining that life to anyone living in the village right now. It's very hard. One of the concepts that we are developing under the test bed, which we are developing at UCT, is to make sure that healthy institutions, healthy facilities in the rural areas, they have got access to the things that we benefit here in town.
And they can see and they can explore.
So
more like a virtual kind of experience.
Exactly.
That's big.
Because if we get technology, we cannot multiply people. But we can multiply technology. So if you get the technology that can help them enjoy the benefits as though they were in town, then that's fine. And that's what we develop.
That's fine.
We are calling.
I think you're calling it.
We are calling them smart hospitals.
Wow. That would be great. Smart hospitals. I can be at my village, but still access the same services that people in the capital city, in the best hospital, are accessing. That's because this is smart hospital, quite connected. There's a more like a virtual reality of my experience. That's big. This is what healthy care system of Malawi needs. The struggles that people have here are quite major, they're just quite big. And I'm happy with this research. I'm happy about your story. I'm inspired with your story, my guy. Don't look at me like McDonald's doesn't get inspired. I get inspired.
I mean, then you already there.
No, I get inspired. I played humble there, but I get inspired to see from where we're coming from. Our stories might be similar in a way, but I get inspired, and I believe there's a lot for you. Do you know what I see you doing? I see you leading some big project in Africa, like managing this big portfolio. Because that's the kind of level that you think, and you have always thought like this for a long time. And I'll be delighted to see you flying, moving around, working with these international guys while you're setting your big dream of having a telco company where you can now lead that kind of development here in Malawi and then scale to different countries. This is big. Guys, I think we should close it here. He has a lot of interesting stories. We will do another one probably in future where we're going to talk about specifically about his research, starting from the master's research and this research, because I think there's a lot that we can learn here of what young people are doing, people that you may not have heard, people that might not be your typical celebrity blaney people, but you know that they are there coming from critical bad backgrounds but doing major amazing stuff. So yeah, let's close it here. I think I've been inspired. I hope you have been, and that you'll be able to share with a friend. If you're there, subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you pop that bell button, that whenever I post something you can get it. It's gonna be an exciting journey. I'll bring people like him, more people, to discuss different stuff which is exciting about Malawi, about Africa, about the whole world. And if you're black, yes, a couple of interesting stuff about black people in terms of promoting the black culture and making sure that we can also be uplifted and trade at a bigger scale, at a global scale. So until next time, this is Mark Donald Nyoni signing out. Boof.